Hello everyone, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Today we're going to be talking about the 25 books that I have acquired since my last book haul. Yes, there is 25. I thought that it'd be more, but it hasn't been. Some of them are Christmas presents, some of them, most of them, are my own money. So, but yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. First we have Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This is a YA fantasy book / historical fiction. This is a book about our main character's name is Audrey, and she is 17 years old, and she is the daughter of a lord, so she lives a very prim, proper, privileged lifestyle. Much to her father's dismay, though, every night she does sneak away to her uncle's laboratory, and she studies forensic medicine. When her work on a string of savagely killed corpses leads her to a serial killer, her search for answers brings her close to her own sheltered it just sounds so weird when I say it. Sheltered world. And if you don't know, this is about Jack the Ripper, so it's during that time. I love forensic murder stories, so this sounds right up my alley, and Jack the Ripper is a very, like, disgusting and horrible, but also very huge historical part of true crime history. So I'm very excited to read about it, and I also heard that a lot of people love this book, so I'm very excited for this. I'm going to say excited a lot in this video, but that's okay. Next we have Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer. This is a book about our main character's name is Prue, and she is a very chronic overachiever, and she has a large distaste for people who are arrogant and lazy. One day she wakes up with the ability to cast instant karma on people, but the only one that it doesn't affect is her arch nemesis and her lab partner named Quint, not Quill. Sorry. I always pick up Marissa Meyer's work, just even though I low-key have only read one of her books before, and I low-key own 5 more of her books that I haven't read yet, so I have so many by her that I haven't read yet, but I do like her writing a lot, and I think this is her first ever contemporary book, so I'm excited to see what she has to offer for this, and I'm excited about this. Next we have The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. This is another YA fantasy book. We follow 2 main characters at a sorority at a college, but what most people don't know is that this sorority is actually a coven of witches. For Vivi, being in the sorority means getting a chance to redefine herself. For Scarlett, who is the daughter of the legacy of the Ravens, she has a lot of pressure on herself because she's trying to live up to her mother's very, very high expectations of becoming the sorority's president. And Scarlett would be the perfect candidate if she didn't have huge skeletons in her closet. Vivi and Scarlett are paired up as Big and Little, and they find themselves sucked into the world of blood oaths and betrayals. This is getting a lot of hype recently. I love any type of witchy story. I love it. So I'm so excited for this. I'm so ready to read it, and I've heard pretty good things about it so far, so I am excited. Next up we have The Last Magician by Lisa Jewell. This is a book about our main character named Esta, and she has an ability to travel into the past and manipulate time. So she has been raised to steal magical artifacts from a group called the Order. So it's very easy for her to steal from them because she can manipulate time and pilfer from the past, and they don't even know that it happened when she actually does it because it takes them a long time to figure it out. And she has one final job, which is to steal the ancient book containing all of the Order's secrets. Sounds really interesting. This book is at my boyfriend's house for like over a year. I was like, you can read it first because my TBR is so big, because it is, but he kind of gave up on the idea of reading it, so now it's finally back in my arms basically, and now it's finally on my TBR. So this is a newly acquired book for me, but it's not new to me, if that makes sense. Next we have A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow by Laura Taylor Namey. That was a tongue twister. This is a YA contemporary book about a girl named Lila whose summer was basically planned out for her. She wanted to spend the summer in her grandmother's panaderia, and she wanted to move in with her best friend, and she also wanted to live happily ever after with her boyfriend until everything ends up falling apart. And Lila's mental health went along with it. Lila's parents sent her to England to a family friend's house to basically help her heal and to come away from her home. And she ends up meeting someone named Orion who knows how sad she is, and he wants to become her own personal tour guide for the summer. She can't help but feel very, very enamored with England and also with Orion. Doesn't that sound so cute? I love books set in other countries, especially England and also France, because I've never been out of the US before and I really want to travel, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So I just like reading books set in different countries, and it just sounds so cute. It sounds like it's going to have a lot of Latinx representation too, so I really am excited for this. Next we have The Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. This is a thriller mystery about a man named Owen Pick, who's a 34-year-old virgin, and he's currently living on his aunt's spare couch, basically. And he has just been suspended from his job because of there have been accusations about sexual misconduct with a girl at his high school, because he's a high school teacher. I don't know why I didn't say that. He searches for advice lines and finds himself sucked into the whole world of like the dark web, and he meets someone who's very sinister named Bryn. Across the street from Owen lives a family, and the father is a physiotherapist, and they don't trust Owen. Their daughter is convinced that Owen followed her home from a train station one day, and they find him creepy. One of the father's patients' name is Sapphire, and she has stopped treatment with the father, so she wants to become closer to him because she can't see him anymore, so she begins to basically stalk the family. On Valentine's Day, Sapphire disappeared, and Owen is the last person to ever see her. I recently read, what was it called? The Family Upstairs by her, and I didn't really like it that much, so I promised myself that I would give her writing and her books one more chance, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna kind of give up on her forever. This is my last try with Lisa Jewell's writing. Next we have Serpent Dove by Shelby Mahern. This is a YA fantasy book about a main character's name is Lou, and she is a witch. She is living during the time when witches are burned at the stake, and they're very, very feared wherever. I think it's in Paris. And she has recently fled her coven and forsakes all of her magic, and she seeks refuge with a huntsman. His name is Reed, and he is a very big person in the church, and he constantly makes sermons about how much he wants witches to die, basically. So Lou ends up getting married to him and has to hide the fact that she is a witch. Lou becomes unable to deny her emotions towards Reed, and she has to decide whether she is going to tell him or not tell him, and she needs to make a lot of choices towards the two different things of her life that are clashing against each other. This is a booktube classic. Don't know why I haven't gotten into it yet, but I finally bought it last month, and I'm just so excited to read it because I feel like everyone kind of likes it, but I might be wrong. I'm not sure. I know that I'm gonna like it though, so that's fine. Watch me not like it now because I just said that. But next we have Fury Born by Claire Legrand. This is another YA fantasy book about one of my main character's name is Riella, and when one of her friends gets ambushed, she ends up exposing all of her powers to wield all elements of magic, and the only people who can do that are people who are descendants of the queens. Or the only one who can have this power is a pair of prophesized queens. A queen of light and salvation and a queen of blood and destruction. To prove that she is a sun queen, she must endure a lot of trials, or else if she doesn't win them, she'll be executed. So 1,000 years later, the fairy tale of Riella is not believed by our other main character named Eliana. And when Eliana's mother goes missing, she decides to join a rebel captain in a dangerous mission and find out what happened to her mother. And ends up discovering evil in the heart of the empire, and Riella and Eliana go through a whole like eon long like cosmic journey or cosmic war basically. And their stories end up intersecting together. So this is the dual timeline book, thousands of years apart, and I'm just so excited to read it. I've heard very good things about it, and I'm just so excited. This is like the book I'm most excited about, honestly. Love it. Next we have The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is the illustrated edition for it, because I hate mass market paperbacks. I hate it. So I had to buy this $40 copy of this book because I refuse to have the mass market edition of this. So yay me, hope I love it, right? This is a adult high fantasy book about our main character's name is Fitz Chivalry, and he is a bastard. This is really heavy, I'm gonna put it down. He is a bastard son of the noble prince. What is his name? Prince Chivalry. And he is considered an outcast by everyone but the evil king, because the evil king is training him to be an assassin. Fitz has a gift of magic called skill, so the king is going to use it to his fullest ability. And we follow him as he grows older, and as he's about to go on a very dangerous mission, which basically leads to this whole world that Robin Hobb created about, starting from this point to like, I don't even know how many series later, but it has been on BookTube a lot this year because Becca from Becca and the Books, I just pulled my own hair. Love that. Because Becca from Becca and the Books started a book club called The Elderling Along where they read all of these books together. They are very far into the series now. I had to take a lot of convincing to do this because, as you know, as I've stated before, me and adult fantasy haven't really gotten to know each other yet, so I don't really know how I'm gonna like these books. It's a very dense, very long world and series of things, and this is like the smallest book in the series, and it's still like a 500-page book, so I am nervous. But I do love this copy though. Like, I better freaking like it because of how much money I spent on this book, but the illustrations are so cute too. Like, I love it. I'm very glad that I bought this edition of it because it's, whenever I read a mass market edition, I always end up DNFing it because I just can't get over how much like text is on one page and I just can't focus because it's just like so small pages but so much text, and I just, oh my god, I hate it. But I'll show you one of the illustrations real quick so that you can see how cute it is. If I can find them. Yeah, look at it. Isn't it so cute? Anyway, I'm so excited for this. Hopefully I like it. I'm still very anxious about it too, so fun. Next we have Blood Countess by Lena Popovic. This is another YA historical fiction fantasy about, our main character's name is Anna, and she becomes Elizabeth Bathory's, who was a real person. She becomes her scullery maid, and as Elizabeth Bathory ends up getting more of a liking towards Anna, she ends up making her be her chambermaid, which is very good for Anna because she wants to take care of her family and she wants to get a higher wage. It's not too long before Anna can't help but fall under Elizabeth Bathory's spell and becomes slowly obsessed with her and falls in love with her, I guess. It's a bit weird. It's like very manipulative, right? So not really love, but what Anna thinks is love. Until one day, she kind of really figures out what Elizabeth Bathory is doing, and then murders start happening within her court. So, Elizabeth Bathory is a real person. Her name was the Blood Countess, and she was known for stealing a lot of peasant girls during her time because they were easy to forget and easy to dispose of, which is very sad. She used to bathe in the blood of her kills, basically, the people that she murdered, because she thought that it would make her look young and youthful, which was stemmed from the fact that she was epileptic as a kid, which back then they thought that drinking blood of a non-epileptic person would cure it, so that's kind of what made her so weird, I guess. But it's a very interesting story to read about. I love true crime. It's a very old story, but I'm excited to read this weird retelling of it and like weird like historical fiction about it. Very excited about that. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of a true crime tidbit. Next we have The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. This is a YA mystery thriller book, which is my first ever YA mystery thriller. I'm very nervous. It's about a group of cousins whose grandmother has disinherited their parents because of events that happened, so they're no longer in their trust anymore. And she's a very, very rich woman. Until one summer, the cousins all get a letter from the grandmother saying that she needs help at her island resort over the summer. So the parents kind of encourage them to go because they want to get back on their grandmother's good side. So the cousins end up going, and then when they get there, things are a bit darker than they seem. I have no idea what that means. I don't want to go too much more into it because I want to keep it all a surprise, but I know that she wrote One of Us is Lying. Never read it, wasn't really interested in it. That sounds a lot more interesting to me. So yeah, hopefully, I'm really hoping that it's not going to be a survival story. The little thing about me, I hate survival stories so much. I hate them. Like, don't recommend me books about being stuck on an island, being stuck on Mount Everest. I'm not gonna read it. Like, I absolutely hate those kinds of books because I just get anxiety about it. I just don't like it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm excited about that. Next, which I don't have physically with me because my best friend Lily did want to read it because she finished the series and I haven't yet. So she's reading it right now. It's called, well, it's How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. I'll put a picture of it right here, or right here. Whatever side fits better. It is a novella about the Cruel Prince. It's a novella following Prince Cardan's childhood, and also I think there's a few stories about him and Jude in there too. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to read more about Cardan and see more about what his childhood was like, and hopefully I can get to it once I finish the series. I'm only on the second book right now, so yeah. But hopefully Lily's enjoying it. Lily, if you're watching this, please let me know. Next we have Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. This is a adult contemporary book about a group of people who go and look at apartment complexes one day, and then all of a sudden a bank robber runs over to the apartment complex and holds all of them hostage. And they all have different backstories. We're all following their different timelines of them, like of their lives, and basically everyone needs saving in some way, including the bank robber themselves. So, as if you watched my favorites of 2020, one of the other books is on there called My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. My favorite book of all time, like my second favorite book of all time actually. So I want to read more by him so badly, so this came out and I liked the idea of it, so I thought, why not pick it up, because I really did want to read it. So yeah. Also, it's gotten a lot of really good reviews lately too, so I'm glad that everyone's liking it. But please read My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, because I just love that book so much. But yeah, very excited. Next we have Charlie Bone in the Castle of Mirrors by Jane Nimmo. This is the fourth book in the Children of the Red King series, which is a middle grade series, and our main character's name is Charlie Bone, if you didn't already catch that. The first book is about, because I can't summarize this book obviously, is about a group of kids who go to Bloor's Academy, and they are all descendants of the Red King, which means that they all have gifts in some way. So Charlie, our main character, can go into photographs and take things from there and talk to the people who were in the photographs at the time and get information through that point. So we follow him throughout the series, kind of getting himself into trouble, kind of like saving everything at the same time and going through all of his enemies and everything like that too. So I love this series. It's very cute. It's very funny, it's very imaginative, and I just love middle grade a lot, and I want to read more of it because you're never too old to read middle grade. Okay? I want to read more of it. So yeah, excited about that too. Next we have The Glass Spare by Lauren DeStefano, which this book is signed. I got it for literally $3 on Thrift Books, and I got a signed copy. How amazing is that? Anyway, this is a YA fantasy book about a girl named Will, and she has kind of lived her life in secrecy because her father is training her to be a spy, to basically, because he has an obsession with war and complete and total power. Will wants a different life for herself until one night she is attacked by someone and she figures out that she has a gift of turning people into gemstone whenever she touches them. So basically to figure out, but she doesn't like that gift, she wants to go and reverse it, so she goes on a journey by herself to find a cure to that power. So ouch, I just broke my nail. This is, sounds like it's exciting, but she gets in the path of a destructive prince who wants to use her power for different things than what she wants to use her powers for. Sounds very exciting. I'm excited to read it. I thought the gemstone was a really interesting ability to have, so hopefully it's going to play out well. I'm excited to read that book. I use the word excited once again. I'm sorry, that's annoying. Don't really know what else to say about it though. It's exciting, right? It's a new book. Next, we have, this thing is so heavy, the Death Note All-in-One Edition by, who is this by? Umi Oba. This is a 2,400 page manga. I'm gonna take it out of the casing so that you can see. Oh my god, this thing is hefty. Yeah, this is a big bitch. This is stories 1 through 12 of the series, and my mom got it for me for Christmas, so very happy about it because I didn't want to buy it for myself. It was like $35 once again, so I got it. It is, I just can't get over the size of this thing. This is about a boy named Light who one day finds a notebook left by Shinigami, which is a death god, and basically it's called a death note, and whoever's name gets written in the book ends up dying. So Light thinks, I'm going to basically do good with this notebook, until a detective sees one day that a bunch of criminals are kind of dropping dead everywhere, and he investigates who the murderers are. So he's like right on Light's trail throughout this entire series, and Light has to figure out how to stop the detective from being on his trail. So I am like, manga is really easy for me to read, but when it's 2,400 pages, I don't know, but I'm excited to read this. I really, it's just so big. This is the biggest book I own now, you guys. Well, obviously it's 2,000 pages, so I'm excited though. I haven't watched the show yet. Usually whenever I read a manga and it's like a big show like that, I don't want to watch the show because like the mangas and the shows are always so similar that it's not really worth it for me to watch shows, because animes are always really, really long for some reason. Like right now I'm watching Bleach and it's like 26 seasons. I'm only on season 7 right now, and I don't want to read the books anymore because it's not going to be any different from what the show is. So let's put this in. Excited! We have All the Water on the Road by Karen Rain. This is a, I think it's an adult contemporary book. It might be YA though, I'm not sure. Which is a book about a girl named Maddie who has cancer, and it's told between her and her mother's different voices. And Maddie kind of realizes that she wants to find love and live her life until she, you know, because she doesn't really know what's going to happen. And her mother has to come to terms with the fact that her daughter may not make it or may not want her in her life anymore, and may want some separation between the two. So it sounds like it's going to be really hard to read. It's quite short though, so it'll probably be an easy read too. But yeah, I got this from Books and Lala's channel. I don't know if she's actually read it yet though. I saw her haul it one time and I was like, it sounds interesting. So yeah, I'm excited to read that. We have The Babysitters Club, Coven. Not The Babysitters Club. The Babysitters Coven by Kate McWilliams. By Kate Williams. This is a YA, I guess, fantasy. It might be contemporary too, about a girl named Esme who has started a club called the Babysitters Club, and she watches over kids and gets paid for it and protects them in some way. And then we have another character named Cassandra whose mother has left her a very interesting note saying find the babysitters or find the coven, and basically goes on a journey to find Esme and her coven. And so she goes and finds a club, and then the two come together and they figure out what it means to be a babysitter and how they have a long line of lineage and superpowers and magical rituals. So if you don't know, this is another witchy book. I'm very excited to read this book. Once again, anything witchy I want to read. So also the cover's really cute too. Next we have Enchante by Guida Trelise. This is a YA historical fiction about a girl named Pearl. Is it Pearl? It is not Pearl. Her name's Camille. Her parents end up either dying or disappearing, and she basically has to take care of her two younger siblings, and she has magical powers, so she can turn like different things into money and use them to pay. But as like that starts to fail a little bit, she ends up seeking out a job with Louis, Prince Louis, and Marie Antoinette. But the longer she stays, the longer she realizes that she kind of hates nobles. And then obviously the French Revolution happens, so she has to decide what side she's going to be on, how she can help in some way, and how things are going to play out through that. This is, oh wow, it's pretty in the ring light. Once again, excited to read this. This has been a long time coming. It's been on my Amazon wishlist for a long time. So I'm excited to read it. And the second book is coming out in next month, so might as well get to it, right? Next we have Nocturna by Maya Monte. This is another YA fantasy book about a girl named Finn who is a face shifter, so she can change the way that her face looks, and she likes this power until she gets, but when she gets caught by a powerful mobster, she's forced to steal a legendary treasure from Castellan's royal palace or be stripped of her magic forever. They follow another character named Prince Alfie, and his brother was assassinated, and his brother was the next in line to become king. And Alfie kind of is the next in line now. He doesn't want to be the next in line, and as he continues to obsess over it, he dabbles in some very dark magic to bring his brother back to life. Finn and Alfie's fates end up colliding, and they accidentally unlock a terrible, ancient, and evil power, and they have to stop it. So this got a lot of hype when it came out. Once again, I'm very late to the game, as always, but I'm excited to read it. And it's very cute too. It's very pretty, so yeah, it's nice. Next we have Stay Gold by Tobley McSmith. This is a Tobley McSmith. This is a YA contemporary again about a boy named Pony, and he is trans, and he left his old school because he was outed by people. So he wants to start a senior off right, and he wants to live under the radar and not have a secret be exposed. And our other character's name is Georgia, and she doesn't like being a cheerleader anymore. She doesn't want to be a part of like that clique anymore, and she wants to live out her senior life kind of under the radar as well, which means not dating anyone from her own point of view, until she and Pony end up meeting in the hallway one day, and she can't help but fall for him or be interested in him in some way. So they kind of go between the two of not wanting, Pony doesn't want to be outed, and then Georgia doesn't want to go against her vows, basically. Which I love the homage to The Outsiders. Love that book. So I'm excited about this book too. I'm excited for some trans rep too, because I don't really read a lot of books like that, and I want to fix that, so I'm fixing it a little bit at a time. So next we have Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. This is another YA fantasy book about a girl named Kate, and her father was a traitor. He tried to assassinate the High King of Rhyme, and Kate is kind of an outcast now, but she is a part of a group called the Relay, which is a very like high stakes thing where you have to like try out to get into it kind of thing. But Kate has a gift where she can manipulate animals' minds to be like calmer and to be nicer to her, so she's good about it. And there are dragons in this book too called night drakes, who are very deadly and kind of destroy everything. Her magic leads her to a caravan massacred by the night drakes, and she comes into contact with her first love and the boy who broke her heart, named Corwin, and he is the prince. Corwin doesn't want to see Kate anymore because, you know, obviously her father tried to assassinate his father, and they have to basically join forces to stop the night drakes. And it sounds interesting. It's a big bitch too. This is a duology, I think, so there's one more book in the series, and I'm excited once again. Next we have Valiant by Holly Black. Is the second book in the, what is the series called? I don't know. The Tales of Fairy? I'm not really sure. Either way, I read, what Tithe. You know, and I got the second book because I always do that, but it's about a girl named Valerie, and she runs away to New York City, and she ends up making friends with people who live in the subways until she realizes that one day her friends aren't what they seem. They're a gang of squatters, by the way, if I didn't mention that before, but and one of them talks Val into tracking down a lair of a very ancient beast with whom they're all involved with. Val finds herself torn between, you know, liking her friends versus fearing what they are becoming. So Tithe was okay. I gave it like 2.5 stars. It was just okay. I like Holly Black's writing, but these books are older than her, you know, her newer series. So she's kind of like, this is like one of her first books, I think. So they're not that good. They're not even following the main character anymore. This is about a whole different character this time. So I don't really have high expectations for this, but I wanted to buy it because I am a completionist. So nice. Next we have Pilu of the Woods by, oh wow, by Mike K. Nguyen. This is a, I don't know if it's middle grade or a YA. It's one of those, but it's a graphic novel, and it's about a girl named Willow, and she loves the woods by her house until one day she meets a forest spirit named Pilu who is trying to get home, and she is lost. And the two quickly become friends, and her home is the Magnolia Grove where Willow mom used to take her to, and Pilu is ready to go home, but she doesn't want to know if she wants to make the journey home yet, which kind of angers Willow, and her anger ends up turning into a physical being, and Pilu and Willow have to end up taking it down. So it sounds so cute. I think it might be middle grade now that I'm talking more about it, but and the art style is so cute too. I'm just so excited. It sounds like it's gonna be so wholesome and cute, and I'm just so ready for it. And they have like a little dog in the front. I'm so excited. And then lastly for this 25 book haul is Saga Volume 6. Yeah, by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This is the obviously 6th book in the Saga series, which is a sci-fi adult, graphic novel series about a boyfriend and a girlfriend from warring planets, and they have a baby together, which is a crime, so they're constantly on the run from people who are trying to kill them and the baby, and we're following it 6 volumes later. It's all good. It's a very good series. I really do like it, but it is adult, so if you aren't old enough yet, don't read it, but it is a very good series, so if you haven't read it yet, please do. And the writing and the art style is very nice too, so it's just like very graphic novel sci-fi stuff. So yeah, that's everything. Sorry if it was too long. Probably was way too long. I usually won't wait this much to do, like I won't wait this long to do another book haul. It has been like 2 months I think, but I just didn't have time to. So yeah, I hope that it's okay, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you have a good one. I hope that you're doing well, and I will see you in the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe, and goodbye.